driving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. I don't even know where I'm sharing to anymore. Let's put it there and we'll call it good. Welcome. I know this part's a little wanky till I get my green screen, but that will happen soon. But yes, I got a new camera. You may not be able to tell the difference, but it is much better. So if you're one of the people that I text, let me know that you're here. And I'll get a green screen here in the next few weeks. But I had to do an update. Because the the podcast that we do. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, it's one of our new logos. Pretty cool. One of our new logos. What I love about this logo is the moon with the sun there. I really like that, how it's together. If you look at these, if you look at them right, these are actually 12 steps. It's kind of a little, but it's supposed to make you feel good. The background is so when you say cool background, it's working. So thank you to Jake and Brian for doing that stuff for me. Okay, I got those out. So we're going to read out of the 12 by 12 today. Hey, 12 by 12. If you see it, whoo, it disappears. Whoo, there it goes. So let's get started. Let's do it. Oh, I didn't do introductions, and we're not at the 3-minute mark. So, all right, let's do it. Welcome, Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm going to be your host the most. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching live or the rewatch. I would appreciate that. I am going to turn the background off for now because it's just causing too much. But look what my camera is doing now. Look at this. Can you see the difference now? And my light, that's all sunlight. That's all from a window. So I'm going to have to be doing, so anyway, the reason I had to get a camera was because, see, now the sunlight doesn't work with it anymore. The podcasts that are coming up will have camera. The people that are coming on the Fentanyl podcast want the camera in use. So I'm going to give that to them, but that means that I had to take care of a couple of things on my side. Let's get started on step 6. Let's do this. Step 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Yeah, it's technical stuff. I'll get it worked out. So, all I'm trying to do is make this the best experience that I can. And sometimes I do that with lighting. Sometimes I do that with verbiage. But I'm trying to catch up to everything now. So anyway, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of characters. Defects of character. This is the step that separates the men from the boys. So declares the well-loved clergyman who happens to be one of AA's greatest friends. He goes on to explain that any person capable of enough willingness and honesty to try repeatedly step 6 on all his faults without any reservations has indeed come a long way spiritually and is therefore entitled to be called a man who's sincerely trying to grow in the image and likeness of his own creator. Kitty, really? All right, it's the kitty cat show now. So, step 6 is about perfection. What? Yep. It's about perfection. It's about God's perfection. All right. And it says here that we're going to repeatedly, willingly, and honestly to get rid of these defects of character. Okay. And these defects of character are anger, manipulation, things like that, right? All right. Anger probably being the biggest character defect out there. Now the dog wants him. Of course, the often disputed question of whether God can and will, under certain conditions, remove defects of character will be answered with a prompt affirmative by almost any AA member. Hi, Amber. All right. And since Amber's here, I got to show it off just real quick. I'll have to get a green screen, but this is what we're kind of stuff we're looking at doing now. Okay. I'm going to turn that off because it's kind of distracting right now because I don't have a green screen. So there we go. You can see the camera is so much better. Actually, I have to move back a little bit so that you can't see all the blemishes on my face. All right. Let's repeat that one. Of course, the often disputed question of whether God can and will, under certain conditions, remove defects of character will be answered with a prompt affirmative by almost any AA member. To him, this proposition will be no theory at all. It will be just about the largest fact in his life. He will usually offer his proof in a statement like this. Sure, I was beaten, almost absolutely licked. My own willpower just wouldn't work on alcohol. Change of scene. The best efforts of family, friends, doctors, and clergymen got no place with my alcoholism. I simply couldn't stop drinking. No human being could seem to do the job for me. But when I became willing to clean house and then asked a God, higher power, God as I understood him, to give me release, my obsession of drink vanished. It was lifted right out of me. That happens all the time. The thing is if you have a sudden spiritual experience, then you will probably notice that the obsession has been removed. If you have one of the educational variety, one day you will turn around and go, fuck, I haven't thought about having a drink in weeks. Okay. So it's going to happen one of those two ways. I was in therapy this morning and gosh, we were talking about the power of pen to paper. She didn't know what I was talking about. I'm like, power writing? She's like, no. So I explained the 4-step to her. And she's like, oh. I'm like, you need to have your people journaling and writing and all sorts of stuff. And I kind of explained that to her. Kind of upset that she didn't know. That's not on her. That's on whoever trained her. So I won't put down my therapist. She saved my fucking ass. She is a godsend, right? Yeah. She's in her early 30s. You know, I'm old enough to be her father, but I get this unique view, and it's cool. Yeah, it's us. And yeah, and Chris too. Chris is here also. All right. In AA meetings all over the world, statements just like these are heard daily. It is plain for everybody to see that each sober AA member has been granted a release from the very obstinate and potentially fatal obsession. So, in a very complete and literal way, all AAs have become entirely ready to have God remove the mania for alcohol from their lives, and God has proceeded to do exactly that. So the character defect they're talking about here is the obsession to alcohol. Did you ever consider that a character defect? Probably not. Okay. But it's the only character defect that is removed in my experience. I still have anger. You bet. I still have my character defects, but I react differently so that I don't go to my main character defect, alcohol. And what we're saying is if you've been released from your obsession, why wouldn't it work on everything else? Well, it's not going bad. So it doesn't need, why do things need to be going bad for you to do something about it? That's the question. Don't do that to that is so unfair to yourself, man. Having been granted a perfect release, what? A perfect release? There's perfection, friends. There's the perfection we're talking about. God's perfect release. A release from alcoholism. Why then shouldn't we be able to achieve the same means, a perfect release from every other difficulty or defect? This is a riddle of our existence, the full answer to which may be only in the mind of God. Nevertheless, at least a part of the answer is apparent to us. When men and women pour so much alcohol into themselves that they destroy their lives, they commit a most unnatural act. What is the most unnatural act? Suicide. Suicide. We drink ourselves to death. Alcoholism is suicide on the installment plan. You know you're killing yourself. That is what we call suicide. Why is that blinking? It only does that when my internet resets. Okay. Defying their instinctive desire for self-preservation, they seem bent upon self-destruction. They work against their own deepest instinct. As they are humbled by the terrific beating administered by alcohol, the grace of God can enter them and expel their obsession. Here, their powerful instinct to live can cooperate fully with their Creator's desire to give them new life. For nature and God alike abhor suicide. A couple more paragraphs, we'll wrap up. Yeah, get back to work. Good. Glad you were here for a minute. Love you. Bye. But most of our other difficulties don't fall under such a category at all. Every normal person wants, for example, to eat, to reproduce, and to be somebody in a society of his fellows. And he wishes to be reasonably safe and secure as he tries to attain these things. Indeed, God made him that way. He did not design man to destroy himself by alcohol, but he did give man instincts to help him stay alive. And it's our instincts that tend to get in the way of those things. Our natural desires, our instincts. What we do is we take those to extremes, thinking that we need more and more of those natural desires. And when we can't get them, then we start demanding them from other people because it's the only thing we can think of. When the real answer is letting go, is letting God have it. If God can release you from the mental obsession that everything in this whole world just could not touch, then why not utilize the same process for our other problems? So, the key to step 6 is perfection. You are not going to be perfect. Okay? But every day I work towards being like my higher power, which is perfection. And that's okay. That is God's will. That is God's will. I can follow God's will, even when it's a good thing. Don't take it back just because it's good, because it's going to get better. If you leave it alone, it's going to get better. Agreed, Chris. Yeah, I didn't care if I died when I was drinking either. No. Death did not scare me. Yeah, we alcoholics are like that. Oh, it's going to kill you. I know. Shut the fuck up. Right? That's what we're taught. That's the abhorrent part that nature doesn't even like. No, that's why it feels so fucked up, because it's not right. All right. Thank you for coming in and hanging out. Seeing my new camera. I appreciate it. That was the whole reason. You too, Ingrid. It was good to see you. I love you all. Peace out and have a great day. Bye.